Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic, here with an upgrade guide to the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms Commander Precon Planar Portal. This red-black deck gives us two fun new commanders to work with. First is Prosper Tome-Bound, a tiefling warlock that comes with an impulsive draw engine stapled to it, along with synergies for casting cards from exile that net you treasure tokens. A strong, valuable commander to be certain. But I'm more interested in Karazikar, the Eye Tyrant. This legendary beholder allows you to repeatedly goad your opponent's creatures, along with incentivizing them for attacking each other without goading. I see Karazikar as an Edric, spy master of Trest with even more political leanings, ensuring you can be provided with cards alongside your opponents as long as they attack each other. So I want to take the precon and add in more ways to do a few things. First, we want the ability to attack multiple opponents each turn and do it safely. Tokens are a great way to accomplish this, and we're provided with a few options in the stock list. Chittering Witch and Death Tyrant both get us more bodies to swing at opponents each turn, allowing us to goad their creatures. Ogre Slumlord could get us a small army whenever a non-token creature we control dies, adding incentive to allowing our creatures to die in combat. Grim Hireling further incentivizes us to attack our opponents as well, ramping us further and further via treasure tokens. Getting us a volume of small disposable or evasive creatures is going to be a key part of our strategy in forcing our opponents to attack each other. I'd add in a few more ways to go wide, like with Sedgemoor Witch, making us a pest whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, or with Goblin token generators like Mogg War Marshal, Legion Warboss, or Siege Gang Commander. Endrixar Master Breeder is another great option as he gets you a bunch of thralls, and Karazikar says that we just have to attack an opponent to goad one of their creatures, not damage an opponent. Sending a 0/1 thrall to its death achieves us the same goal. But for this purpose, I think the real superstar will be shadow creatures. That is, creatures with the shadow ability, meaning they can't block or be blocked except by other creatures with shadow. If we populate the lower end of our curve with these small unblockable attackers, we can ensure we're not throwing away resources to get a goad on each opponent each turn. Dowthy Horror, Dowthy Ghoul, and Dowthy Cutthroat are all great 2-mana creatures we can include to ensure we're getting Karazikar's trigger each and every time. We could also include other small unblockable creatures like Changeling Outcast or Ginger Brute or Signal Pest, giving us viable ways to goad reliably. The second part of Karazikar's ability is what we'll want to play into too, disincentivizing attacking us, encouraging our opponents to attack each other, even when we haven't goaded their creatures. For this, we'll want more ways to goad creatures or ways to ensure it's not viable for creatures to attack us. This will ensure that if it comes down to us and one other player, in which case our goading does nothing, that we'll be safe behind various hazards. We could lean into more goad effects like Bloodthirsty Blade or Pseudo Goad with Kardur Doomscourge, or even effects like Kazul, Tyrant of the Cliffs. These all either force opponents to attack each other or ensure they don't want to attack us. Frenzied Saddlebrute is another great option, giving your opponent's creatures the ability to attack each other as though they had haste. Varchild, Betrayer of Keldor, gives your opponent's creatures they can only use to attack each other. Ways to net you more triggers, with Karazikar again ensuring these creatures only need to be declared as attackers, not survive combat. The new Vengeful Ancestor is another goad engine too, from one of the other Adventures from the Forgotten Realms Commander Precons, giving us essentially 2 goads on one body in conjunction with our commander. Geode Rager, a card I have desperately been trying to find a home for, works very well here, turning all of our landfalls into goads. If we upgrade to include some fetch lands in the deck, this can work well in our favor. Cunning Rhetoric turns an opponent attacking you into card advantage for you and removes resources from them. This new card from the recent Strixhaven Commander Precon fits right at home no matter how you're building this deck. And Curse of Disturbance, Vow of Malice, and Vow of Lightning are all good ways to single out one creature or permanent and force them to attack your opponents. I don't know if I would put these cards in my build, but Hissing Miasma, Blood Reckoning, and Marchesa's Decree are all bleed effects that dissuade opponents from attacking you. They're definitely better in multiples, but at 3 or 4 mana each, they clog up valuable spots in our mana curve. With our main strategies taken care of, let's see if we can't up our win con game a bit. We'll be digging through our deck a lot, potentially getting 2 cards per each opponent's turn, 6 cards per turn cycle total if our opponents attack each of our other opponents on each of their turns. This means we can essentially find massive synergy pieces or win cons very, very quickly. Revel in Riches, one of my favorite cards ever, is a great fit for the deck. It acts as ramp, as our opponents are going to be forced to send creatures at each other. And if it ramps enough, if we're successful enough, it can be an eventual win con. Black Market can act very similarly from a ramp perspective, netting us more and more mana to use as our opponents send creatures crashing into each other. Otherwise, cards like Wound Reflection and the new Warlock class can act as game enders, doubling damage dealt only to our opponents. This means once our foes have picked each other apart and decimated their own armies, we can swoop in with our forces and deal the final blows. Before we take a look at the final list, I wanted to make sure we look at some upgrades. If you want to take this concept to its maximum potential, consider adding in a few of these cards. Grenzo Havoc Raiser is basically Karazikar's best friend, with perfect synergies no matter how you are building this Planar Portal precon. It's a shame he's almost as expensive as the whole precon is off the shelf though. If we are upgrading our shadow creatures, the new Dowthy Voidwalker would be a good include. Unblockable and the incidental benefit of casting us cards out of our opponent's graveyards while shutting off their graveyard synergies. Pitiless Plunderer would be a great boost to our mana generation if we're going to be running small tokens into our opponents consistently, generating us a treasure each time our creatures die. And the biggest tool Black has to dissuade opponents from attacking is No Mercy. This brutal enchantment kills any creature that damages us, but it is very expensive to consider picking up. If you have one laying around though, it is a good include. Check out the full list in the description below and be sure to let me know what you think of this precon. I cleaned up the mana base just a little bit as well as the mana rocks, just to make sure we can roll further up our curve smoothly. Let me know if you want me to tackle the rest of the Adventures in the Forgotten Realms precons coming up on the channel. And, as always, good luck and have fun.